I hate filming when I forget to put my curtain lights on, but I have like literally 10 minutes to chit chat before I go work for 8 hours. So I'm not gonna get up and put them on. We're just gonna have to admire how ugly those curtains are without the curtain lights. Holy shit, huh? Those are ugly. Anyway, so I wanted to do a story time about how I got arrested and put in a jail cell for like 5 hours. So back in the day, like when I was first in college, I like hung out with this chick. I'm gonna leave her nameless because I don't want her to get in trouble, like now that we're adults and, you know, we used to do some shitty things together. So I'm gonna leave her name out of this. First of all, like this is why I wear hair extensions, because my hair is just like so blah, like no volume, flatter than flat. And it just looks boring when my hair is like this. Oh well, I don't feel like wearing hair extensions today. They're just so heavy sometimes. I'm just like, ugh, I don't want these in my head. Anyway, so back in the day, like me and this girl like hung out in college and like this is awful to say like this, but we used to shoplift because it was just so easy. And like she basically taught me everything I knew about shoplifting, like when to do it, how to get away with it. And for like months upon months, we would go to like Target or CVS or whatever have you, and just take whatever we could get without paying for it. And it just became so easy that it just became a thing. Like, as horrible as that sounds, but you know what they say, you gotta keep doing shit and fucking up until you finally realize I probably shouldn't be doing this anymore. So I remember I went to UMass Amherst for college, and I would go home like every so often because it's only 2 hours away from home. And I remember I went home right before Thanksgiving, and me and Gabby, me and my old friend Shay were at the mall. And I went to one store and I stole a jacket. And then I left that store and I went to JCPenney. And the number one thing my friend told me is never steal from stores like JCPenney, Macy's, Sears, because they always have those people that walk around that look like shoppers, but they're really like undercover cops that are like trying to catch shoplifters like moi in the act. So I was in JCPenney and I stole a $10 necklace. Like, I went into the dressing room, pretended to try clothes on, and then I stole a necklace. And right before I was about to walk out of the store, this lady, I'll never forget what she looked like. She had like a mullet, like it was a curly blonde mullet, and a black jacket with a white shirt underneath and jeans, grabbed my ass and like brought me into a room and interrogated me for like 20 minutes and was like screaming at me, treating me like shit, which I probably should have definitely been treated like shit because like it was about time I stopped doing what I was doing. But at the same time, I was like, this can't be happening. It's like about to be Thanksgiving. My parents are gonna be fucking pissed. I'm thinking they're just gonna let me go with like a slap on the wrist and like ban me from the store. But nope. She did the most. She put me in handcuffs, put me in the back of a fucking car. Mind you, this is Salem, New Hampshire, and they just don't like black people there. They hate black people in Salem, New Hampshire. So, black, Spanish, anything ethnic, they don't fuck with. So I'm in the back of this cop car and I'm thinking, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I'm super young at the time. I'm like 18 years old. I'm like, my parents are definitely not gonna help me. So I called Gabby, who was working at CVS, and she answered. Well, I called the CVS phone because I knew she was working the night shift. And she picked up and I told her, and it was just like silence on the line. And she goes, and I quote, I got $40. My bail, I believe, was $700. So I'm like, okay, $40 isn't gonna get me out of jail. And it was right before a weekend. I believe it was a Friday. So it needed to be paid by 7 p.m. that night, or I was gonna have to go to like the county prison for the weekend. And I was like, I'm not built for jail. Like, I'm not cut out for this. Like, I'm not gonna make it. No. So lo and behold, I call my mom, and she's fucking disgusted with me. Like, my mom works in the court office. Like, this is not how she raised me. Like, she's fucking, I don't even know you. She wanted to keep me in the county lockup until after the weekend. But luckily my dad knew I wasn't tough enough for a prison, so he literally just sold his rims on his Mercedes for exactly $700. So he used his cash from selling his rims to bail me out of jail. And my mom like called me every name in the book. I wasn't allowed to eat Thanksgiving dinner with them. I had to go back to school. It was just really dramatic. And I remember that night I went back and I was hysterically crying because I knew I fucked up. And like my dad is just like shaking his head, but he was never gonna like leave me there like stranded. And my mom's just looking at me like I'm the biggest piece of shit to ever be born. Like she just hated my guts. Even if you mention this story to her, like she gets pissed. Like she doesn't even like me to ever bring it up. Cause like, you know, now we can laugh about it, about how stupid I was and how like I really needed to be caught that day or I'd be out being a piece of shit probably still. But like if you even mention it, it's like she fucking melts down. Like I don't want to fucking talk about it. I don't even want to fucking think about it. I'm like, dude, that happened like literally over 13 years ago. Like let's settle down. Let's not be so upset. Besides the point. So that day, she's like, you need to get the fuck out of my house. And I was like, all right. I mean, understandable. So I went to my best friend, Awilda's house, and I cried and I cried and I cried. And then the next day, we went back to UMass. And I didn't go home for Thanksgiving because my mom was just not fucking with me. And I remember my dad brought me to the courthouse when all this shit was going down. And I pleaded no contest, which really in the end of this grand scheme of things means I'm guilty. I just don't want to admit that I'm guilty. So anyways, that happened. And I looked at him and I go, Dad, I promise when I get my life together and I have some money, I'm going to pay you back for bailing me out of jail. And he's just looking at me like, you're never going to have the money to pay me back. And I'm like, I'm probably never going to have the money to pay him back. So whatever, long and behold, like that a couple months later, I got a job at a bar. And for like a year and a half, I'm working at this bar. And I remember Christmas came. And I go all out for Christmas gifts. I don't just like buy to be buying shit. Like when I have money, I like to be creative. Like one year my dad wanted a guitar, so me and Gabby got him a guitar. One year his record player broke. So I went and I found like a really cool new modern record player. Like I like to do things that will give people meaning and purpose, so when they look back at it or they use it, they can remember, oh, my daughter gave me this, or my cousin gave me, whatever the situation is. I always want somebody to look at a gift I gave them and like appreciate and remember like the meaning to it, I guess. So I remember me and Gabby balled out this Christmas because we both had money, and I had a bunch of gifts for my dad, but I had one gift waiting for him at the end, and it was just like I don't know if I put it in a box or I just put it in an envelope, but my dad opened it and it was a letter, and inside the letter was a Bank of America money pocket, and it was the $700 cash that he used to bail me out of jail. And I was like, Dad, I know it took me a little time, but I promised I was going to pay you back. Thanks for always having my back. And it was like the first time my dad like actually broke down in tears after giving him a gift, because I mean that was a pretty shitty point in time and pretty much our family's lives, and I was like a really big disappointment in that particular situation for my parents. So it meant everything to me to be able to have money to pay him back for having my back, because I honestly don't know what I would do if my dad didn't pay that. Like I'd probably have a juicier story about my experience in jail, but I'd prefer to just have this story about paying my dad back and how great it was. But I had like a record for a while. It was because it was a misdemeanor. Thank God it wasn't a felony. It was only, can you imagine a $700 bail for a $10 necklace? If that's not fucking insanity, I don't know what is. And that was over a decade ago, so I can't even imagine what it is now if you get caught shoplifting. But besides the point, I used to be a klepto, then I got caught, and then I never stole anything ever again in life because I was just too scarred. And honestly, it's just not a good feeling. I don't know why me and my friend did it. I think maybe just because we could. Because it was like accessible and easy, and we were like, fuck it. I couldn't even tell you why. because we were dumb and we were young and we were kids. And I think every kid on the face of the planet has a story about how they fucking stole something. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you're doing. Like, if you're a lawyer, a cop right now, a judge, at some point in your life you probably fucking stole something. Even if it was a piece of gum from like the local deli. So mine just happened to be a necklace from JCPenney. And then my bail was crazy. I'll never forget that night in my life. But when I was locked up in the jail cell, I was screaming, excuse me, sir, excuse me, because I was like literally in a jail cell, you know, with like the tiny bed and the fucking toilet in there. And I'm supposed to be allowed one phone call. So they take my mugshot, they fingerprint me. I'm weeping, because I'm like so mad at myself. Like, I can't believe this shit's about to go down. I have no idea what to do, who to call, what's about to happen. So they mugshot me. I'm crying in my mugshot. They throw me in this jail cell and they're supposed to give me a phone call, but they didn't give me a phone call. So what felt like 5 hours, I was screaming, excuse me, sir, excuse me. I just said excuse me 1,000 fucking times. And then finally someone came and like opened the jail cell and I was like, can I fucking call someone now, please? Like, time's ticking. Like, you guys want me to go to prison for the weekend. So I ended up getting like 2 phone calls because Gabby, I don't even know, I think I only got 1 and I think Gabby might have handled the rest. I can't really remember the logistics of the situation. I can't remember if I called Gabby and then I called my mom and my mom was freaking the fuck out, or if I called Gabby and then Gabby told my mom, and then I don't know what happened, but I remember my brother was the one that picked me up from the jail with my dad's bail money. And I can't even tell you what it was like being in that jail cell for 5 hours, so I can't imagine what it's like for people that are in jail cells for like the rest of their lives. Or like doing like even fucking a 6-month binge in jail. I don't know how people do that. They treat you like fucking shit. They don't care about helping you. And like, you're literally in this 2x2 dirty ass cold fucking cement. Oh my god, it was horrible. And I just can't imagine what it would have been like if my mom and dad made me go to like the little actual prison for the weekend. But thank god my dad came through. But yeah, that was my experience in jail. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, I ain't never going back. I ain't never going back to jail. Never. That shit was horrible. It gives me chills just thinking about it. But at least I got something to tell my kids. Like, don't be like your mom, alright? Don't fuck up like your mom. Be smart. Don't shoplift. Just tell mom that you want it. If it's in the fucking means for the month, I'll buy it for your ass. But don't you dare steal, because you don't want to be in a jail cell like your mama. It was not enjoyable. Anyways, guys, like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, Swallow It Podcast on Instagram, Swallow It Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Dash Radio. Don't forget to buy my book, Don't Be That Bitch, on Amazon. And have a great Sunday. Don't be stealing anything unless you're stealing someone's heart or stealing someone's breath away. Don't be a thief unless it's a thief for love. Mwah. I love y'all. I'll talk to you soon.